It's important to look at each individual institution and really understand the unique set of challenges that go into that, whether it's marketing, enrollment, student services, operations, really dissecting that on an undergraduate versus a graduate level, even dissecting it further into doctoral versus master's, and identifying what's happening in the market and what those trends are. There's certainly unique programs that present challenges. MBA, that's been a declining program for a number of different institutions, and a plethora of them have actually pulled their MBA program. These are large state schools that have been around for 100 plus years. And how do you take a look and respond to that? Is it a specialization? Is it really a program? And what are some of those unique programs that offer a value proposition that no other institution has? And how do you bring that to market? And I think at the core of it, it's really understanding and starting with the research. And that's pivotal opportunity to really understand how you can help grow that institution, making sure that you do the due diligence and understand the research, understand the market, the right program. And then that goes into marketing messaging strategy, and that trickles down into enrollment and student services. And how are you providing a personalized experience that makes students want to come to that institution? What is that reason to believe, and what are those key differentiators? And those are some of the unique challenges you have been tasked with really on a daily basis. I think that's important too. Education is a declining vertical. There's a number of different institutions that have closed their doors. I read something in 2019, there were 55 nonprofits that closed their doors, and primarily before that was a lot of for-profit institutions that were closing, and we all kind of know that story, unfortunately. And some of those student outcomes weren't very favorable.
The first thing is it all comes down to your planning. My observation working across multiple institutions is typically the breakdown happens in the planning stages, or their ability to have the right data and analytics to make the right choices on where they're going to spend their marketing dollars to be the most effective. So what I see is it always starts with the planning. What is it the number of starts that you want to achieve for the year? What channels is marketing using to generate interest in the institution? And even as you dig down further, what does it look like by degree level? Meaning, what are your top 10 or 15 degree programs that are succeeding the most, and can you optimize your spend in that direction? I think from an enrollment perspective, it's about having an enrollment team. We're not in a space anymore where you can pay for performance. It is not there. And so how do you keep an enrollment team that has good quality enrollment abilities, is motivated, and you have a good culture where people want to come every day? I think that's just kind of a throwaway term that you have to have. In addition to that, your speed to lead, how quickly you're following up with your inquiries, is extremely key depending on the channel. If you're in kind of the third-party lead aggregator world, which a lot of institutions are, make sure you're buying the right lifetime value to the institution, have the best retention and the best conversion rate to maximize dollars. My observation has been, when I've seen other institutions, some institutions treat every inquiry as the same, whether it comes from website, whether it comes from a channel, or they don't have the data and the metrics around it to be able to evaluate it. So they're spending money, but they don't always know how they're spending the money. It's about the relationship that happens between the marketing and enrollment engine within an institution. Ask yourself questions: is this institution partnering well together, or is there a lot of finger pointing going on? Most organizations that don't work well together, there's finger pointing going on. The leads are terrible. No, your enrollment people can't do it. And so I think really putting those two issues to the side and coming together as a group to be able to challenge and work together has what really has allowed to grow over the last several years, or be flat, which sometimes is successful depending on the year, instead of shrinking. And we've been very blessed to be able to do that.
I think whether it's in higher ed or B2B, you've got your marketing leader, you've got your sales leader, and the two don't interact. They don't share data. I read some Salesforce data the other day that said only 52% of marketing departments share their data with sales. That gets back to, how do you create that strong culture, and what does that look like from a leadership standpoint, and how do you set the right expectations, setting that precedent? And then I think everybody else kind of falls in line and sees that, hey, it's better to be collaborative. It's better to create synergies than it is to put up barriers. And that's been really crucial to our success, and the planning and all the different things that Ken alluded to. I think those are really critical components. That may sound easy in theory, but I think in practice, and being able to execute that day in and day out. What happens when conversions go sideways? What do you do about it? And how do you plan appropriately? How do you assess what is happening or what has happened, and how do you apply for the future to evaluate what you have learned and what does that go forward plan look like. So I think that's something that we've been able to demonstrate really well.
Thank you for tuning into the Education Marketing Insider by Grow Enrollments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated. Stay tuned.